I look more like a human being. Let me look a little bit for a minute. I look more like a human being now since I'm not as sick as I was last week. Although my hair is still having some issues. My hair is still not is not feeling better apparently. Um, but I wanted to come on and I wanted to show you some of the things that I said we were going to be working on to move forward in the art realm for Christmas. So I have bought these blank mason jar wood blanks. All they are. I got a really good deal on Temu, of course, Temu. And I've painted them all different colors, but where they look like mason jars. But I've got one. This is a special one. Hi, Gypsy. I've got one gray one, and then I did some other colors. Just some rust browns, gray, and then I did this one special. So they still look like jars, but I painted them, and I thought I did a really good job blending. I mean, hey, I'm not a painter, but I think I did a pretty good job blending, like my Memorex cassette tape earrings. I needed happiness today. That's what brought me happiness. Don't question it. Just roll with it. What is wrong with my hair? My hair's having a day, y'all. Hey, if you've been trying to reach me on cell phone, it's impossible since Verizon and Straight Talk merged. I haven't left the house in over a week because I've been sick. I'm just now feeling better. I did that haul the other day, the Temu haul, and then I basically slept for 2 more days. I think I had COVID. I'm not lying. I think I did. It was just a really bad cold, which is what COVID is. Don't tell anybody. But they've also been putting new fiber optic lines up. So if I want to do anything online, I have to do it after like 6 o'clock because they've been stringing new line until 6 o'clock, which cuts me off. So I've been kind of dead to the world. And like nobody's hurt me. Like even family was like, "Are you okay?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I'm fine. I've just been sick and my phone's crap now." Which it is. My phone is crap. Hi, Ashley. Let me check. Might be able to do an iPad conversation later. This phone literally, basically all it's good for now is streaming. Good grief. That's it. Ashley, I'm going to blame it on you. That's fine. I'm going to roll with that no matter. Yeah, there's been a lot of sickness, and David and I were both sick. I'm sorry to hear that. Is it Mimi Pearl or Mimi Pearl? Mimi Pearl. How do you say that? Mimi, like Mimi, Grand Mimi, or Mimi, like Minnie Pearl? How do you say that? Anyway, I can probably yell at you after I get this done. Because the only way I can really conversate is if my email. Here's the thing: if my internet is good enough to do a voice conversation, because it's not been lately, but they've been putting new fiber optic line up, and I think it's been inhibiting my internet because like I've gone like chunks of the day where I've had no internet and no like cell phone signal because of the new issues since Verizon and Straight Talk merged. And I'm just very lucky I have that I fallen and I can't get down button now that I didn't want. Now I'm very thankful for it because I have been like left alone at home with nothing, and it's kind of scary sometimes. But I think they did less work on stuff today, so I'm thinking they're about done. I hope they're done because tomorrow I have a surprise for y'all. Tomorrow my mom is visiting to help me get caught up on my crafting. I am so far behind on what I need to have done because I set little, parameters for myself of where I'm going to be and what I'm going to have done. And if David wants to go here, then I might have a few things I can send with him, to feel useful, to feel helpful. But actually, I haven't got my seeds yet, but I'm very rural route. And if you ask Leva Cats, it took forever, so I'm not super terrified yet. But as soon as I get them, I will let you know. I'm not super terrified yet because Leva Cat sent me some, and she's actually very, very close to me. And it took over a week for them to come. Well, I could have driven probably in 3 hours. So I was like, gee, that took forever when we lived really close together. That's really strange. But I'm rural route and my mail is horrible. So it doesn't scare me yet. I've made one of these. Mimi Pearl, I'll yell at you later on. If my iPad has got a good enough signal, I'll yell at you. My Wi-Fi, I haven't looked at it because I've been kind of without it. I've focused on stuff and so on. But I'll look at it. If my signal's good enough, I'll try to voice call you. Snowman. Okay, now I've got to cut that off and comb out the rest of his tassel. But these are the little snowmen we're making. I'm going to put a prettier hanger on the rest of them. And comb out the tassel better and do a better job. I actually might use my gold thread, or I might actually just go and get some green and red embroidery thread. I can talk. And do it. Okay, they should be getting there. They should be getting close then. So we're going to be making like 80 to 100 of these. Because I don't know how to just halfway do anything. I go crazy. It's what's wrong with me. But I do have a surprise. Since Mom's going to be here tomorrow, I'm going to try to do a live with Mama here crafting if she will allow me to. She may be watching this going, heck no. But I really want y'all to see my mama and to visit with her for a minute. I've been working on this sucker. I've got a little bit more done on this sucker. Now, this is a ceremonial stick. Don't anybody think I've got a wampum stick. I leather wrap the end of it just because it's easier to hang on to. But I'm going to do some leather stretching. And I might put, I'm going to embellish this somehow. I don't know if I'm going to do it with fur or with gemstones. I don't know yet. But I am going to put fur dangles. A fur wrap down here with feather dangles. So I've got to make feather dangles for this. My last ceremonial stick sold last weekend. The big one with the beaver skull that I'd had forever that I didn't think anybody was going to want. It sold. So it's gone. So I've got to get some more native options because, like I said, sometimes the people of the tribe come and they want to buy something that's native. Tomorrow, we are mostly going to be working on painting my 12-inch round blanks and painting some wood blanks that Gypsy provided for me and getting some base coats down and making snowmen. Buttons. I'm telling you, buttons would be gorgeous on a lot of Christmas decor. Buttons remind a lot of people about Christmas. I've gotten so many seeds, they probably wonder. They probably think I'm a crazy person, but I have a lot of seeds. And I like to keep my seeds, and I like to keep a couple, 3 years in advance because that's about how long seeds will last. So, Gypsy, we'll do a button trade next time you come down. I'll swap you something for a button. But the reason I did this one a different color is because this one's going to be from my mama. Now, if y'all don't know my mama, she plays... I always kind of picked on her because she plays the banjo. And I always used to kind of really, really pick on her. And I'd be like, well, you could be normal, but you play the banjo. So, I really used to pick on her. And when that song came out by the rubber band group, I don't know, it was some country funny group. They had a song called I Played the Banjo. And it was about how he could have been a music star and a big name, but he played the banjo. And we did a clogging routine. I got up a clogging routine to that and made the little kids in the clogging group that me and Mom taught learn it. And we did a clogging dedication to Mom to the song I Play the Banjo. So my mom is a banjo player. So I saw this and I had, I buy bulk when I buy to do crafts and stuff. So I thought, well, I'm going to make her something cute for helping me. So let me clip these into, okay, all I did was tie 2 strings of jute around twice and make a bow. That's all I did. So what I'm fixing to write on this is, I think what I'm fixing to write on this is you had me at banjo. or stay weird, ... I play the banjo. I don't know which one to do. Hey, Psycash, how you doing? Oh, did you see my ceremonial stick that I've started? It's not anywhere near done. And I have so many feather dangles, leather dangles, and antler dangles by the time I get done. I did put the color, the health wheel color pattern on it. That reminds me, everybody pray for Denise. Denise has been going through a lot of sickness, and I miss her. We missed her on here. We missed in her name. We missed her modding. And there's a big void in our little family when she's not here with us. Everybody pray for Denise. But yeah, there's going to be so much. This is actually a cow jawbone. Went a little overkill with it, I know. Now you can see how Cain and Abel had that little issue. But it's a beaver tube willow stick that I painted, and it is leather corded, wrapped on, and leather cemented and Loctited on it, but it ain't coming off there. But I've got to embellish this up here. I may do some dangles, some rattle dangles, and then I'm going to do another fur wrap down here with some leather bunches hanging down. I am also going to be selling my smudge feathers at the Christmas thing in December because thank you, Slack. That was very sweet, Slackash. I'm going to be selling my little leather or feather dangles at the thing in December in Putnam County at the fairgrounds. Well, David is. I don't know if I'll be there or not, but David will be. And I'm trying to see which color would be best to write this in. And they're going to actually be coming this time with 3 to 5 feathers, depending on the size. 3 to 5 feathers, and bound in leather, wrapped in sinew, with either a selenite stick, not a straw, a stick, or a quartz stick, or an amethyst stone, real, bundled together and tied up. And so that I thought that would be a pretty thing. Yes, it's very cold here. It's colder than a well digger's butt in January. I'm not. Hey, I had to bring my plants in. They're here beside me, and they're really sad because I left them out as long as I could, and I actually forgot them a few days because I got sick again. And I was like, oh, my plants. And then I went out there and I was like, oh, I'm sorry. I felt really bad because they looked really, really bad. So, okay, let's take a vote. I could have been famous when I play the banjo. And she plays really good. She can play Foggy Mountain Breakdown. Hey, she can put, Lester Flatt and Earl Scruggs, she can put them to shame. She can just zip right on through there. And I have video of her, and I think I've shared it here somewhere before, of her playing Foggy Mountain Breakdown. But Dad's hands don't allow him to play the guitar as much as he used to because of the arthritis and stuff. But, my family used to be a little gospel bluegrass troupe that went around and sang at all the churches. And my dad had a radio program. We sang on the radio. And, we went everywhere. I think my largest stretch in church for a number of nights was 33. I did more homework in church pews than I did at home when I was in high school. But see, Mom sang, and of course she played the banjo. Dad played the guitar. Matthew played the guitar. Matthew's my brother. If you haven't joined in on Matthew's page, it's 10 TENN Hunt Farm Guy. 10 Hunt Farm Guy. So Tennessee, basically 10 Hunt Farm Guy. And he's just doing some shorts. He's got a few of his hog hunting videos, and he's probably going to be doing some taxidermy stuff. And he lives in a very remote area of the mountains of Tennessee, and he's probably going to be doing stuff that you don't see very often. So if he can get his subscribers up and get his video going a little bit, I'm sure he'll put up more. But he's got some really awesome shorts, some weird shorts, and then some that will just make you laugh. He's got one of my nephew my nephew just proposed to his fiance now a couple days ago. But when he was like 8 years old, and he wanted to be a used car salesman for Halloween because my little boy wanted to be a used car salesman for Halloween. And we put it on, and he started dancing like James Brown. And so we took video, obviously, because that was the thing you did back then. And it still lives on his shorts. My nephew dancing like James Brown, and it's the cutest thing you will ever see. You need to go watch that one at least and see just the cutest. I mean, 10 Hunt Farm guy. That's my brother, and he's got some of his. Oh, I'm sorry, he's got some of his Canadian bear hunt that he did this year on there as well. They would pay me not to sing. We sang. Of course, I sang too. I sang harmonies with Mama, and then I played the mandolin and the fiddle, whatever's kind of needed as a background noise. And because what I played in band was alto saxophone, so you can't really put alto saxophone into Baptist singing group. Although we had drums sometimes, so I guess you could. But so we sang a lot, and I'd like to do some singing. I know I've got a friend in New York that works at a college that does like a Appalachia study group in the fall with a certain lesson plan she teaches, and she's wanting us to do some old timey gospel songs to share for her classes. And I'm like, okay, well, when we get a minute, y'all, we don't ever get a minute. We're trying to get minutes. We're trying very hard to get minutes. It's just hard to get minutes. Yeah, Abby's been singing, she's been writing her own songs and singing them at church. And so she won't do it on film for me to hear. So I'm just going to have to sneak up and come to church one day and be like, no, you go sing one of those songs for me. Which, could potentially happen. Homecoming's coming up. Oh, thank you, Ashley. Yeah, my brother, he's pretty neat. He did taxidermy for a long time. He's owned hunting lodges. He's been owning the big fancy schmancy Nancy broiler house, chicken houses for the last 10, 20 years of his life, which cracks me up because he hated chicken houses when we did them when we were kids, when we took care of Grandpa and Dad's. He hated them and always got left to me. But now he's owned several farms of broiler house chicken houses. So I'd love to come hear her sing too. It's like if I want my health to be good enough to where when I have time and David has weekends off, we can actually go and do stuff like that and it doesn't drain me. So I hit fall kind of head on this year, but I also think it wasn't just flare. I think I actually had a sickness. My brother has 2 kids. They're grown, so I'm not like endangering them. They're grown. One is like a respiratory therapist nurse, and Micah is he's learning how to do the farm thing and taking over the farm work, and so he's running farms as well. And he was a big football player in high school. I called him Silent Bob when he was little because he didn't talk a lot. I did. I called him Silent Bob. I'd say, "Come on, Silent Bob," and he'd follow me anywhere we wanted to go. But he talks a lot now. Like I spoke to him at Granny's funeral, and he spoke more words to me than he had in probably his whole first 10 years of life. It was kind of strange, but yeah, there's a lot of sickness going around, and I don't know if what we have is COVID or not, because if you drink Sunkist, all those at-home tests per all the scientific data and the people that I've watched will kick positive for that. And I don't want anything stuck so far up my nose that I'm going to have my eyes crossed, so no thank you. If it's just a bad cold, I'll just get through it. And we got through it at home. It was just a bad cold. But what happened with me was it was a bad cold, and then my flare came back that I was going out of. When I got that bad cold, my flare came back, and the weather changed. So it was like the holy trifecta of let's mess her up, and I was down for quite a while, so I was sick. I'm at around 33, 34 pounds now, Ashley. Still as sick as I was last week, and I ate more than I probably needed to because my body was healing and I was hungry. So I was like, I'm going to have to eat more calories because I'm working on fighting something. And so I ate more calories. My nurse was like, yeah, you do. You need to eat more. And I still lost like 4 pounds. So it totals from 33 to 34 pounds lost now, but I'm doing pretty good. So, I can't complain. I have a neck again. I don't have that big waddle right here as bad. Y'all can tell I'm thinning up. I don't have any makeup on. I really need the bags under my eyes to go away. But my skin's looking better. My face is looking better. I'm feeling better unless I'm sicker than a dog. So I'm happy with the progress I'm making, and I'm doing it at a rate that is completely able for me to keep it off, and I'm learning the ways to keep, I'm learning how to eat correctly and what I was doing wrong. So that's the big thing. Okay, so spit out some banjo thoughts while I'm gonna start making feather drops for this big honking thing. I've got a big turkey feather. See, and I've got a lady that's picked up her chicken feathers for me too. And I bought them. I buy them off of her. I don't make her just give them to me. I buy them. And I've got another turkey feather. And someone just got a pheasant, and they promised me the feathers when they plucked them. And I was like, ooh, ooh, ooh. I mean, got way too excited over pheasant feathers. I need one of those shirts that says, have a pheasant plucking day. I really want one. Ooh, more feathers. Ooh, see, feathers make me happy. Feathers make me happy. Now, I am going to put some glue in between these feather shafts just because, I do things kind of the old natural way when I start tying. But, the good Lord helped us, discover glue. And I need to put my little finger thingies on. I didn't think about that. Where did I put them? They're up here Summers. But I'm going to start wrapping some drops. So let's think about the banjo. What is it? Should it be, I could have been famous, but I play the banjo. You had me at banjo. Or I was raised on sweet tea and banjo. What do y'all think? I need something funny to put on here because I'm going to give it to her tomorrow. I've got some wire somewhere. I'm going to make wire hangers for some, but she'll probably put a magnet on hers and stick it on the fridge. That's normally what happens at Mama's house. It ends up, and I can't say anything because my refrigerator's full too. And when I bought my new one, because my old one was on its last leg, but now it's in the mudroom working just fine. I think it was just faking it. Oh, and my washing machine died too last week, so I have a new washing machine now too. When you've been somewhere 21 years almost, things start falling apart, and you have to start replacing things. And you're like, dadgummit, I just bought. Wait, no, it's been 20 years. Okay, I can't complain. But yeah, I've been having to drop some dough here lately, buying some stuff that I was like, it's not enjoyable to buy. And I was actually too sick to go and pick out a washing machine. And David finally got to feeling better. And I was like, get the plainest, the least troublesome, the one that makes the least beeps. I don't want one of those newfangled turds. And so he did. That's what he did. He went and got me one of the easy peasy ones like I asked for, because I hate anything that's newfangled. Sweet tea and banjo. Sweet tea and banjo. I like that one too. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm just doing my gather knot, where you make a loop. You make just a loop at the end, and you make sure that you keep this. I'm really trying. You keep your one end sticking out, and then you start. I swear, come on now. We're trying to do something here professional. Be nice. Keep that one sticking out, and then you start going around. Let me start it so you can see what I'm doing. I can't do it with my hands up that high. Okay, you start going around it, and you go pretty tight, but you leave that one sticking out. And I've got thread here that changes color as it goes. I really like it. It adds a little bit of flair. And let's see, I'm going to keep wrapping until I get to the end of my cut string, and it's absolutely got tangled into everything. We packed up from that one vendor sale, and literally it was only packed up for 5 days, and unpacked it, and it looked like everything had just tangled up together, like they had a party and not invited us. And I was like, how does this happen? How do these things do this when they've just sat in a box and not been touched for a week? How do they look like they have just had an earthquake? I don't understand it. But that's what it looked like. So I'm wrapping, and this is probably what I'm going to do my smudge feathers like too when I wrap them. Just FYI, when y'all look at this, they'll be prettier. They'll have a leather base underneath them, but this is pretty much what they're going to look like. So then when you get to the end, you've got a loop here, and you put your string, the end of your string through the loop. And then I kind of hold it, and you start pulling on this end. Now, sometimes because of my hands and how puny I've been, I have to get pliers. And I have to use all my strength. And what you do is as you pull, that loop pulls the loose end in, and it pulls it down underneath all that. And then you get both ends, and you pull against them, and it creates a really tight knot in there that cannot be undone. And that is called a gathering knot. And then you trim both ends. And if you have really good scissors, I'm going to leave that one because I'm going to put a bead on it. Then you can't tell that it's been tied. It just looks like it's been wrapped and bound. And people will start trying to look for a knot, and they can't find a knot, and they think you've worked some kind of hoodoo. So I like to confuse people. So that's one of my favorite ways to confuse people. Let me see. I have got such a mess on my table. You would not believe, well, you probably would believe. If you know me, you would believe it. You'd believe it in a heartbeat. It's a pretty big mess. Hey, Mama's in the chat. That's my mama. We were just talking about you. We were voting on what to put on your little thing I'm making you. I was telling them how you play the banjo and how the cloggers, we made them clog. When I found that song, I played the banjo, I made them clog to that song because we always joked at you that you could have been famous, but you played the banjo. But you play it very well. And so we were making you a present as a thank you for coming up and helping me tomorrow, because I'm so far behind where I was puny. Ow. I'm trying to put a wood bead on this booger, but it's being a booger. So this is my mama, Donna Shope. That's my mama. The woman that tried to teach me patience and manners. She tried really, really hard. Some of it stood, some of it took, but it bless her heart. She tried really, really hard. A for effort, Mama. I'm just a little Manus. Naturally gravitate toward mischief. Do I? No, I guess I do. Yeah, I do. Let's just be honest. I do. So what I'm doing now is I'm trying to get all these little boogers cut into a way that they'll go into this bead. So I'm just trying to put this bead on these strung feathers. And that's what I'm trying to do. I bet you Oliver's in your lap right now, isn't he? Oliver's in your lap. Undoubtedly. My smudge feathers normally, like when David takes them to like events and stuff, he normally asks like $15 for them. I might be able to push it to 20 with the selenite and the quartz and the amethyst on them. I don't know what shipping would be though. If I was to do shipping, I'd probably keep it at 15 plus shipping, because shipping is the bane. I hate shipping. If you've ever heard me have a rant on shipping, you know how much I hate shipping. Everybody on this page has heard me squawk about shipping. I dropped that. Where'd it go? Right there. But shipping is not my favorite thing. I think shipping is way outrageous, and I think it's just profiteering. I would revolt in a moment against the postal service if I could, because they make me mad. And if y'all caught my outrage with the where did I drop that at? Hang on, I'm going after a bead. Where did it go? Oh well, I'll find it when I sweep. I'll get another. If y'all saw me go after the FedEx and the Home Chef, because he left it at my gate, which was way far from my porch, which is the instructions. I got free groceries the next week. I dropped another one. And they gave me desserts and a breakfast too. So I thought that was sweet of them. And then the next week, they left it touching my door jamb and my door as if to say, message received. And I was like, okay, thank you. Just do your job. I don't ask you to go above and beyond, but just do your job. People don't like to do their jobs anymore. Okay, let's see if I burn myself. Maybe I will, maybe I won't. Trying to get this one bead way down on there to hold that. Now, it will have a little piece of leather underneath it, so you will not see the glue when I get done with it. And it's actually going to hang from the back end of this big honking ceremonial stick. My other ceremonial stick sold, Mom, so I have no more ceremonial sticks or talking sticks. You got a question, Dolly. Dolly's got a question. Okay, Dolly. If you have to hide your question, I'm just going to go ahead and beg you not to ask your question. But if it's not one you have to hide, go for it. I've had a lot of people had to hide some questions lately, and it's like rude. It would be funny if it wasn't so rude. I don't know. Sometimes it's still funny. Okay, Ashley, I'll put a couple back. I have several to make. I've got plenty of feathers here, and if Abby's picked me up some, woot woot, I'm gonna have plenty. This jawbone is heavy. It's hard to deal with. Yeah, Gypsy's looking. She's waiting for that question from Dolly. She's like, "What's that all about, man?" Well, we get a little jumpy when people have questions around here. Ever since we had that one guy come on here, and I had to burn him real good. He thought he was going to get sassy, and I thought, buddy, you walked and you stepped into that one. That was, you don't know who I was, and you just walked right into that one, buddy. I felt kind of sorry for him. Maybe we need to have like a warning at the beginning of every video that's like, don't poke the bear. She's really nice and less perturbed. Oh, goodness. Oh, good grief. But it was kind of funny to, like, he thought he was going to come on here and be all sassy. In like 3 minutes, he was gone. And I was like, well, I thought you came out to play. He was gone. I know, the trolls. But, you know, the trolls give me algorithm hits, and they help bring people to me. So, honestly, I can't be super mad at the trolls. So, I mean, what can you say? They help me out too. Okay, so what I've done is I've linked some feathers to this, but I've left me a longer string with this because I'm going to do a couple of feathers hanging off of this, and then do a fur wrap, and then do leather hanging down to hide it. I'm trying to get the big feathery weird stuff out of the way before Mom gets here tomorrow, so all we have to do is paint, and she doesn't go home covered in fur or feathers, which is completely possible if you're at my house. Completely possible. Oh, did you log back in? Oh, I didn't mean to be nasty, but normally I'll take a minute and kind of be like, are you here for the right reason, or are you not? And I just kind of double-barreled him. He just kind of ticked me off. Normally I'm very nice, but I have my father's mouth. I'm going to blame it on Dad. Mom, is that okay? Can I blame it on Dad? I have my father's mouth. And boy, once you get me started, you get him started too. But you get me started, it's just as bad. But in my defense, I grew up kind of hanging on to his chaps. So, in horse barns. So I grew up with them rough people. Or I was in college lecture classes with Mom. And I was well behaved, wasn't I, Mother? I would color in my Garfield coloring book, or I would take notes, acting like I was in college too. And I was well behaved. I was the well behaved person in the college classes. The teachers always doted on how well behaved I was, which I thought was very sweet of them. Okay, I've glued 2 more together. We're going to do 2 more on top of this. Oh, you like my edit? I thought this was too good not to share all over again. I was just like, oh goodness, we got to have fun with this one. But, rude people either should be stopped or be amusement. So I'll just let them be amusement. That's just how I am. I am wrapping this one again, doing the same gathering knot. Gonna hide the bead the same way, and then I'm gonna put a little bit of leather on it to make it look even, more indigenous. I do have to make these a little stronger than most because people will pick them up and swing them around and, oh, how neat, what is this? And sometimes I have to bring them home and replace feathers because people are so rough at the events. And somebody's kid started tossing a skull up and down in the air at Scott County, and I just snapped my fingers, looked at him, and said, "Put down." And his mama was like, oh, and she grabbed him. She's like, "Oh, I'm so sorry, I'm so sorry." And I was like, "Watch your kid." And David kind of looked at me, and I was like, "Hey, listen, I'm a mom. I will call down a child in 5 seconds." That parent was standing right there, just was not paying attention, and he was playing with a $25 skull, and I was like, "Not on my watch, kid. I don't care who you belong to. You will answer to me." So he stopped real quick. Okay, we got that one wrapped. Cut that string off. I always put a dab of glue before I put my bead on because I have to anticipate people being rough. And y'all know my biggest fear is somebody buying something for me and it falling apart. So I kind of overkill it sometimes. But that's okay. That's just who I am. So I'm going to spiral this one down too. And of course, later I'm going to put a little leather around here to hide the glue as well. I've got some rawhide I'm going to put around there. And some of the sad things about the rawhide is sometimes I have to chew on it before I can, and soften it up before I can use it. There's things you didn't want to know for 500 Alex today. Mom, are your chickens still laying? They pretty much never slow. They slow down, but they never stop, do they? How's your chickens doing? How's your Democratic hen doing? That's what we all want to know. How's your Democratic hen doing? Well, I know you're watching and listening. Are your chickens laying, or has the Democratic hen give up and got everybody on strike? Mom will be here tomorrow, and if she will permit, we will do a little bit of video, and while she's here crafting, it will probably be a video I have to edit and put up. I don't think she will go live, but we'll do a video of some of the crafting we do. We'll give her time to type back. Oh yeah, they're still laying. I've never known Dad's chickens to really stop laying. Maybe they're terrified of him. Oh, did they just molt? Yeah. A lot of people around this time will start fermenting their feed to try to help them kind of get through the changing seasons. Now, I don't know if that's something you might want to do. There's my 2 feather dangles. See, they've got nice movement. They look pretty from either side. I am going to put rawhide down here and dangles to cover up the twine, so they'll have rawhide coming down and leather attaching to them as well. But they're going to have fur over the handle too, so I have to kind of leave myself some room to work. So there's the rawhide dangles, and once again, here's the big jaw, and then the dangles. So these things just take a while, and it just takes a long time to get everything done and everything put together, and it's just a labor of love. Well, if I could talk Mom into going live for a minute, I will, but probably she'll be more comfortable if I edit a video and just put it up. But I'll try. No promises. My hair. Look at my hair, y'all. I got those funny hair extensions and the braids and the puff braids and a ponytail because they were just like $3. And I had watched a little bit of Nell and Shannon D, and they were having such fun with the wigs and the hair extensions. And I thought, well, doggone it, I'm going to try this. And lo and behold, they had my color, which is dark auburn that has been colored to heck and back and then growed out. But they had a really good matching color for this that's growed out, and then this will be braided in to the extension, so I think they'll look good. But I dare anybody when I go somewhere with braids in my hair to ask me if I'm native again. I'm gonna snap. Mom, I just need a picture of great grandma Stevens to just set somewhere so that people know. They just stop asking me because I know I look Irish because my daddy's a strawberry blonde, but nobody believes me. Let me see, Ashley. What I miss? Ashley. Did I miss the Ashley question? Oh, what is the hair clip thing you got called? The one that opens up. Oh, the stretchy one that goes over the. I don't have anything but my hair in right now. This is just mine. If you look up fake hair ponytail holder, fake hair scrunchie, you'll find the ones that I wrap around sometimes to make my bun bigger. The open up things are. Oh gosh, I'll pull a link from my order and send it to you via email later. Will that work? Because that way you can find it, because they have so many different ones, but there's certain ones that don't do as well as the other ones. The best ones are the tortoiseshell ones. They're the best ones that grab. Oh yeah, Dolly never asked her question. It must not have been a good question. When people come on here and they're not people that normally ask questions, I'm like, should you ask a question? I don't know if you should ask a question. Okay, so Mom, we're gonna be painting tomorrow, and then we're gonna be making snowmen. Which this one's kind of ratty because I didn't comb his tassel out very good. I've got to do that. I have a comb. But we're gonna be making snowmen and painting. And I think I'm going to finish the jars tonight, or get most of them finished. I've got them all painted, but I've got to put the writing and stuff on them. I'm going to put the jute and the writing on them. So all I like tomorrow is the pumpkins and my rounds, and I've got 2 sizes of rounds. And we'll just go as far as my paint will go. Some of them I'm going to leave wooden and stain, but most of them I'm going to paint white because I'm going to decoupage. I'm a decoupage addict. Oh, they're great. Oh, they're awesome. I love them. They're the best. I mean, and I'll go to bed with them in my hair and wake up and they're still there. They're still hanging on, and they don't break your hair like these black bands that I have in right now. I've got to paint my pumpkins tomorrow. I did actually paint a couple of these the other night, and I want you to look at how pretty I did the blending on this. Did I not do a good job? I was so proud of myself. I thought, doggone it, I blended that real nice. And I'm not artistic, but I don't think I am. I think I'm more of a au naturel, make stuff out of twigs. And I put a little, so he can be hung from a cabinet door or a hook or a window curtain rod, or, and his little tag says pumpkin patch. I thought that was so cute. I thought, man, I blended that so pretty. Look at it, and then the leaf looks so pretty. I was just in an artsy fartsy mood last night. So, and then I did this one. I did another Hey Pumpkin because it was the first one to go. And I did this one a little rougher because, I don't know, it just struck me that way. I put a tassel on him that I need to actually even up. It's the editing afterwards that I forget to do. I get so thrilled with what I've accomplished, I forget to do the final little edits. And his little thing says fall, y'all. And it says, hey, pumpkin. These little garlands, people love them. They're addicted to these wood beads. What do they do? No, I'm serious. I'm serious as a heart attack. What do they do? I mean, I know people love them, and I've made stuff out of them, but I don't get it. I mean, they're pretty when you lay around stuff. I mean, my bone garland's real pretty. I need to redo it too. But I mean, I don't get the love of all this. I mean, it's cute. And then people come up and they're like, boy, that string is tight. And I'm like, because it will stretch over time, and I don't want you to have gaps in your beads. And they're like, oh. And I'm like, oh, never in my life. I worry about some of these older people that buy stuff off me that say things like that. I'm like, do you not know that string stretches over time? No? Okay. It worries me. But I thought this one was cute. And then I got one of the jars done last night. And I've got something else to add to it. I've got to put the jute on it. It says the secret ingredient is always love. Isn't that cute? That is so cute. I drew hearts on it. And then I remembered I had these stinking little hearts. So I'm wondering if I can glue those over the top. Let's just see. Oh, no. My nurse has got super thin hair, and I got her one because they were just like 67 cents. I got her one to try, and it stuck in her head. I'm here to tell you, they're amazing. I don't know. There is some kind of sorcery. I'm here to tell you. It's some kind of sorcery. It works, though, by golly. I think I can do this. I think I can glue these and cover up my little drawed hearts. And that would be so cute. Okay, let's do this. Glue gun at the ready. You know I control the world when I have this, right? Remember? Remember how powerful the glue gun is? Remember all those people that come on here and think I'm like destroyer of worlds and all I'm doing is crafting? I think that's so funny. I mean, people get really intimidated with an old woman and a glue gun. Oh, and I've got one that says, that's going to say, your opinion was not part of the recipe. I bet you that one sells first. I bet you it does. Are you the mom from Young Sheldon? I don't know. I've never watched Young Sheldon. Am I the mom from Young Sheldon? Is that a compliment or a sideways, hateful, nasty? I don't know. Now I'm going to have to watch Young Sheldon. Doggone it. Well, I mean, I think I have super intelligent children, but I don't know if that means I'm the mom from Young Sheldon. So anybody watch Young Sheldon? Tell me about it. I aged 12. Well, thank you. I kind of look like her. Now I'm going to have to watch it. I sound like her too. I am a hillbilly. I'm an educated hillbilly. I have a master's in psychology, but as much as they ever tried to make me stop twanging, I would not stop twanging unless I was in court and my judge looked at me funny, and then I'd stop twanging. Mostly because I was prosecuting warrants and I needed his help. But I would shut up for a few minutes and stop twanging for a few minutes. Then I go right back to it. I'm very proud of my twang. I have the dying dialect of Appalachia, so I'm going to twang as long as I can twang. So that actually was really cute. Look, I covered them up with those little love hearts. That is so cute, and it adds another dimension to this. That is adorable. Now I'm going to have to watch Young Sheldon. Oh, happy birthday, Ashley. I would sing happy birthday, then everybody would leave quickly. Very quickly. Where did I find it? Y'all, my table. I promise that I will have this cleaned off, Mom, before you get here. But boy, my table is a mess. It's a mess. In my defense, it's a crafting mess. So, you remember your kitchen crafting room? Oh, my crafting room looks spot on. It's genetic, Mom. It's genetic. Where did I put them things? Well, I can hide stuff from myself the quickest of anybody I have ever seen. Lord knows where I put them. You know something? That's okay. We'll just steal some more from something else. Jute is one thing I actually do have a lot of, so I'm not super worried about it. I always have way too much jute. Let's see, and I need to get that about that long. Name a car for an edit. What does that mean? Name a car for a Ford Baby Blue Tempo. It's the most atrocious car I can think of. A baby blue Ford Tempo. One of those old, ugly, powder blue Ford Tempos. Y'all remember them? The ugliest car that anybody ever designed. A baby blue Ford Tempo. If I ever pulled up in an offender's yard and they were driving a baby blue Ford Tempo, I knew it was just problems. It was just the start of a horrific relationship between offender and officer. And I would be just like, oh no, it's the baby blue Ford Tempo. Oh no. And I was normally right. It didn't bode well for them at all. Bless their hearts. I don't know if that car is just like prone to felony offenders, or I don't know. Okay, this one says the secret ingredient is always love. What are the Powerball numbers? I don't even know how many numbers are supposed to be in the Powerball. Ashley. Yeah, I've got a mound on my kitchen. I sent Mom a picture, actually. I've got a mound on my kitchen table. So she saw my house the other day after I've been sick for a while, and it was bad. But, you know, it was more important that I rest, so I had not cleaned. But I've picked up a little bit. I vacuumed because David is legitimately, he's like Pigpen. He leaves a trail wherever he goes. So I have to vacuum every day and stay on top of it, because when he comes in from his factory, he just leaves black footprints. So I just have to follow him through the house and clean and clean and clean. It's like Pigpen. I mean, just like Pigpen. That's why I have 4 rugs on my porch to catch as much of it before it gets in my house, because it's the metal fabrication from the car plant. It's horrible. Horrible, horrible, horrible. Okay, so Mom, tomorrow I've got all these wood rounds, and we're going to paint some of them white, and then some of them, if I can find my red. I hope I can find my red. Pretty sure I can find my red. I'm going to paint it red, white, red with black, and the bobber, and it's going to say rather be fishing. It's going to be an ornament for fishermen. It says rather be fishing. I need to drill my deer jaws and finish my sun catchers, because I still haven't done that. So that's something I need to be getting on. But I'm going to try to focus on the less au naturel crafts tomorrow and do more of the paints and stuff, so Mom won't go home covered in fur and everything else. He's like Pigpen. He like leaves a trail wherever he goes. And he'll leave doors open, and I'm like, it shuts. It goes both ways. Oh, yeah. Nobody will ever come see you until your house is dirty. And then they all just like fall. I just one right after the other. And it's like, just, hey, come on in. Sure. My house is nasty. Okay, so I've got raccoon on this up here, on this cow jawbone. I think I'm going to drill some holes and maybe have some coyote ribs coming off of this that I'm going to put some big beads over, so it makes some noise and to be beaded and be pretty. And then I'm going to come back here and do another round of coyote fur, and then I'm going to match the beads and the leather strips back here with the yellow, the really tawny yellow rawhide like this, and do some strips with some beads sewn on. And I think that's probably all I'm going to do to this one, because it's got such a pronounced object to look at anyway. We don't want to do too much to it. So I think that's probably what we'll do. And I might add another feathered angle up here for balance. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see what strikes me tomorrow. But right now what I'm going to do is put all of the rest of the writing on these jars. I will put the one that we spoke about earlier, so Mom will have a gift when she gets here tomorrow. And then I'm going to just do my dishes and head off to bed. I've kind of gotten stuff to where it's a controllable chaos now, so I've got stuff sorted out to where I can kind of clean the table really quick and get stuff pushed off. I brought my plants in today, so my kitchen has been taken up with all my plants. So I'm going to clean off my table and do my dishes, and I'm going to call it a night, because by then David should be home, and I'm just going to crash because I've got a big day tomorrow. The next one we have is local. It's for a little Head Start that's trying to raise money. And David always donates to auctions and always says he'll go to those. So it's local, and it's not this weekend, but next weekend. Thank goodness we have a break. And then the big one that costs so much to set up at is in December. And I think it's the 2nd and 3rd, or the 3rd and the 4th. It's the Grinchmas Christmas in Putnam County at the Putnam County Fairgrounds. It's literally 5 minutes off of Interstate 40, exit 286. Yeah, 286. And it's a 2-day event. So, but thankfully they have security and they lock everything up at night, so we don't have to, like, we box our stuff back up and we can leave it there. We don't have to then put it in the Jeep, and we put it up so it's not out in the elements, but then we don't have to like take it home and bring it back, which is so nice. They have security there and they lock everything up, and it's a really safe place. And that should be the last one of the, I'm hoping it's the last one of the year. And if I have stuff left over, David may throw it on Etsy. That's kind of been dead for a while because Etsy had problems at the middle of the year and we weren't quite sure about what to do about that. So we just kind of paused the store. But if we have stuff left over, it may go on Etsy, or he may do something with, put it on the Hillbilly Furs Facebook page and let people ask about it. I'm not in Oklahoma. You ever heard anybody in Oklahoma talk like this? I have friends from Oklahoma. They don't talk like me. But that is where you go to get all you nice horse stock and all you cowy rangy horses. You go to the Texarkana area there, and you get the good horses, the old wimpy ranchy cow horse bred good horses. Yeah, I saw that table Ron made. I watched his video and it was I was so happy to see him in a creative mood that wasn't music, that wasn't a pressurized environment where his creativity is got a price tag on it. Just to see him creative for creative sake was nice. Did you see how there were no lines in his face? There was no, he was more obsessed about how he portrayed the creations to you all, that he even started over a couple of times rather than trying to be, getting your attention. He was just he was really proud of what he'd made. And I thought, okay, we're doing good. This is a good thing. And I think he just needs to be creative, and he doesn't always need to be creative in music, because music has it's a very high pressure point for him now, and it's hard to top himself. And I think that's why he thought, oh, I need to change my name and start over, which is, I think that's stupid. I'm sorry. Don't ever give your name up. That's all you got in this world. Don't ever give your name up. But you can kind of reinvent yourself if you need to, but don't give your name up. But I also saw that he's been spending time with JJ and Kelsey, and little Junebug, and then the little baby boy. They're really chill, good, down-home country folk. And I've been like, okay, this is great. I'm so glad he's spending time with really good, solid, salt-to-the-earth people, because JJ's just as humble and just as country as they come. He's a sweetheart. He is a fine young man. And his fiance, Kelsey, is just, she's gorgeous, but she's happy to get out there barefoot and get dirty with the chickens, and she'll sit down and hold her turkey in her lap and pet her turkey. She's got so many she's got like a fowl farm basically. And they're just good people. And I was so glad to see him just kind of get out there and be with calmer people, people that put their eyebrows down. Thank you. They're cassette tapes. Does everybody remember cassette tapes? I had every Queen cassette tape ever made. I bought them all like 2 times over because I'd eventually strip them. I listened to them so much. I still have some put up in boxes because I had a cassette player in my old Dodge Quad Cab. And now I don't. Now I've got one of those funky Jeeps that you have to load the music on a little thing. I hate it. I don't even have a CD player. You have to load all your music. What's up with that, Jeep? Hello? But yeah, these were a big part of my childhood. Ask Mom. I was always listening to music. I was completely always listening to music. Shut up and I don't care. Why are you here then? Because the fact that you showed up and you talked and you interacted says you do care. Energy shows what you're actually doing, not... People are like, I don't care. Well, you cared enough to say that. That's energy. Why did you give me your energy? I mean, if you don't want to give me your energy, go away. I love Queen. I've got a whole arm tattoo of Queen. I've got a big portrait of Freddie on my big fat arm up here. You can't hardly see it. I need a sleeveless shirt on where you can see it. Is before he got sick and he's in that leather jacket with a microphone in his hand. And I'm actually really good friends with Peter Freestone, he was Freddie's personal assistant for the last 12 years of his life. Actually, I messaged him the other night and I was like, okay, great Uncle Phoebe, it's time to start giving me name ideas for the babies in case Haley can't think of any. And he was like, we don't know what they are yet, do we? I'm like, nope, not yet. And he's like, oh, I'm thinking. So I have enlisted Peter Freestone in the name list because I'm anxious to see what names we have on everybody's name list. Oh, my mother bought a VCR back in the day when you had those. It was like the newest thing out there, and I remember we all thought we were just eating high on the hog because we got a VCR. We were keeping up with the Joneses. We got a VCR, and she got it at one of those rent-to-own places, which was like the only place that had them then. They were so new. And she got that VCR, and it was supposed to be, I don't know, it was probably like $150, $175 even back then. But because it was rent to own, and they had in the title, they changed the interest ever so often, she ended up paying like 3 times for that VCR. But I will say that VCR lasted till I was like 19 years old. So it earned its keep. Bless its heart, it earned its keep. But y'all remember when VCRs were like super expensive, and then when they stopped making them, you could get on eBay and they were super expensive again. And now that they're making them again because people are saying, hey, we still need these things, now you can get out and find them in yard sales and stuff again super cheap. And it's just the cycle of life. It's really weird. Yeah, and you would always have to rewind before you took the movies back to the movie store, and that whoever got that job hated it because you had to sit there and wait, because you normally rented like 4 to 6 as a family on a weekend if you had a movie, a movie fest, and whoever got that job had to sit there and rewind all of them away. And then they created the pop-up rewinder that all it did was rewind, which was like the new cool. It's like the digital photo checker now that people have for their hunt trail cams. Even though I'm like, why don't you just take my little digital camera and put the card in there? And David's like, oh, well, this thing's cuter and it's camo. And I'm like, it does. It's just put the card in the camera and look, but it did a specific thing. And they fell in love with those things. I remember all those things. I remember the biggest event was going to the video store and renting movies. My kids even love to go and rent movies and games. And you don't do that anymore. It's like there's anything that brought families together is done. It's like when they created the Welfare Act and they created all these things to benefit the family. Well, that's been going on since like the 60s. That's 63 years, and it's not benefited the family. It's actually harmed and reduced family numbers. It's reduced marriages. It's amped up divorces, and it's created more single parent homes because of the way the welfare cycle and it was structured. And because I worked in that field forever, and it's so devious. It's such a masterminded plot. And I'm like, why have we continued these same benefit programs for 63 years when they've not benefited the families they were supposed to benefit? They've actually, tore down the family, but they've not restructured them at all. So, but if we do something with money and it doesn't work, then the government makes us change it. But if they do something with money and it doesn't work, it's okay. So I think that was probably their goal, was like, oh, let's break the families apart just a little bit at a time. Let's offer them benefits for, staying single. Oh, if you have more children, out of wedlock, you get more each month. Oh, and it just created an energetic drive in a very negative way. And I'm sitting here going, we still have these programs going on, even though after 63 years, they have not changed, improved, altered in any way positive the family or the family structure. And that's one of my biggest beefs after working in that field, because I worked with at-risk youth in the juvenile justice and social service departments. I worked with privatized youth that had really bad behavior. I worked with kids that were supposed to go to prison that went to wilderness boot camps. I worked with kids that were in state's custody that had trauma and addiction backgrounds. And then I worked with felony offenders. I worked with sex offenders. I worked with every level of offender that Tennessee has. And almost all of them have the same story. They came from a single parent home, was not monitored, did not receive enough individualized attention, and idle time is never a good thing for somebody with a lot of energy. We'll just say that. So, but I mean, hey, if we do something wrong with our money, the government will snap that in 2 minutes. But they've done something wrong with our money for 63 years, but they won't listen to us when we say it needs to be corrected. They just keep going down the other way. And it's like, I mean, at this point, I mean, I'm sorry, but I think we need to put Temple Grandin in charge of the welfare program because she thinks so analytically and clearly, and she understands herd mentality, which is what human beings are. I think Temple Grandin could fix our welfare system in 5 seconds because she fixed the livestock issues in literally 5 years. She renovated the entire livestock community and how they slaughter animals and how they treated animals. And she understood the mentality of the herd animal. And I'm sitting there thinking, well, let's just put her in, let her revamp the welfare system because all we are is herd animals. That's all we are. And we're being herded in the wrong direction. And if she could see that and revamp it, I'm like, let's give the welfare system to Temple Grandin. She can fix it. That woman's mind. If I could visit any mind for 5 minutes, I would want to visit Temple Grandin's mind because there's so much in there that is amazing. I would just want to soak it all up and take it with me because the way her mind clicks is amazing. If you've not read her book, read her book. She is amazing. She's very curt and crass sometimes when she discusses things because she doesn't sugarcoat anything, but she's so amazing. And she'll explain things so easily for you to understand. And I'm like, that's it in a nutshell. And it's, all these people with all these letters after their names, they're like, oh, well, we can figure this out. Let's just take it. And they take millions of dollars and never do anything. And she literally renovated the entire livestock industry just because she kept talking about the problems. And I'm like, well, let's just get her in the welfare department and let her talk about the problems. Because it is just like livestock. It is large hordes of sections of people being manipulated for different reasons with a monetary, consequence or benefit. Let's turn her loose and let her fix it. Just turn her loose and let her fix it. Okay, yeah, send that to me. I'll email you that link when I get out. When I get my dishes done, when I lay down, I'll email you that link. But yeah, send that to me because I'd like to see that. If I haven't, if my internet's, it should be. It's holding tonight, which is great. The last couple nights, it's not. So, but I mean, this woman's smart, y'all. Don't people like to say people with these. Well, she's autistic. Now they just say on the spectrum, but she was severely autistic as a child, and she learned how to socialize, and that changed the world. But when she learned how to socialize, she almost overcompensated, and she's really shined and become very outspoken in the livestock world. And she's like the star mind. Like, I would love to visit her mind. Oscar, I know it's potty time, but can you give me 2 seconds, please? Okay. My dog owns me. But I would love to be in Temple Grandin's mind for 5 minutes. So, but yeah, when people come on here and they're like, you don't need to be here. You're not doing anything. Well, why are you here then? If I'm useless, go away. If you don't like me, click block. Ignore. Don't visit my channel. It's that easy, but it's not that easy for people that, bless their hearts, don't feel an attachment to anyone, anything, and just go through life void of emotion. And they're just looking for some attachment, even if it's negative. It's like a kid, you get no attention, any attention is positive. And, so, but they contradict themselves when they say, you don't need to be here. You're not worth watching. Well, why are you here? Why are you watching? You contradict yourself. And so it's comical, mostly because I see the momentum behind it and the motive, and I understand what they're trying to do. And it's just kind of like, and it's sad because it probably works on a lot of channels with a lot of people. It's really sad. But with me, it's like, Okay, well, you taking the time to tell me that took that time out of your day, so therefore I'm worthy of your time. So rewind. Why are you here? So it's a little crazy. But I've only had trolls come out since I've been doing the Monjaro updates, and I really get tickled with them because they're like, "You're a big fat slob," and I'm like, "And you're stupid because I've done said I'm fat, and only fat people on Monjaro. Hello." I mean, hello. I told you in the very first video I was using it for weight loss because of I'm a non-surgical candidate and I have to lose this weight or I'm going to be pre-diabetic, diabetic, and then shorten my life substantially. So I have to do this because of my neuromuscular disorder, and I'm a non-surgical candidate for any kind of knee replacements or to fix anything that was damaged way back when. Let me right out the gates. I'm taking this because I've gained too much weight and I've got to get this weight off because it's not doing good things for my body. And so when you take the time to come and tell me that I'm a fat slob, I'm like, did you take the time to watch the first video? Oh, well, you're an ignorant idiot. Oh, okay. Well, I'm a fat slob, but I have deductive reasoning. And if I don't understand the context, I can go back and view another video and figure out what you're talking about. You just blurt out stupidity. So I was like, okay, yeah, I know I'm fat. I know exactly how fat I am. My knees pack me around every day. I know exactly how fat I am. I'm less fat than I was 3 months ago, but I'm still fat. But like I said before, I may be a heifer, but I'm a prize heifer. I'd win the blue ribbon at every county fair. And you can't tell me otherwise because I think I'm adorable. And confidence does not come from a number on a scale. It comes from what you believe in yourself. And I know who I am, and I know what I've done in my life, and I know people I've helped. And I have the confidence within me to know that when the good Lord tells me to do something, I do it. And I deem myself a good person because of that. So I don't really think that much about what other people say. Mostly they're just making wind out of their mouth because they can't take the time to fart. Put that one in a book. You never know what I'm going to say. Hey, listen, that's what I'm saying. You got to love yourself no matter what shape or size you are, because if you don't love yourself, you know, you can't love anybody else. So I've always been very secure in who I am, but I do, for my health, I do need to get this weight off because after the injury and all the surgeries, I gained way too much weight, and it's causing a lot of issues with my neuromuscular disorder. So it's kind of a got-to situation. But it doesn't change my worth. I'm still the same person. So it's just kind of like, wow, how juvenile and non-introspective, counterintuitive and counterproductive you are. You just shine in society there, bud. And then we wonder why society is turned into a bunch of mongrels. Ta-da! Oh, I'm silly. I'm in a silly mood tonight. I probably would have fun with somebody if they tried to troll me up tonight. That'd be funny. But I'm going to finish these few things. I'm going to make the thing that we talked about earlier and provide it to Mom tomorrow as her gift and a thank you for helping me. And then I'm going to do my dishes real quick, make my husband a snack for when he comes home from work, and I'm going to call it a day. So I appreciate you spending the end of the day with me. Time is something you can't ever get back, so I appreciate it. I hope it made you giggle at least once. And made you think a couple of times as well, and made you want to buy these awesome earrings that are just like 87 cents. They're great. But it is 10:45, so I've got to get some stuff done. I will be back tomorrow around 11, 12, probably around noon Central Standard Time. I'm hoping Mom will let me go live. If not, there will be a video of myself and my mother crafting and whatever else we get into. There's no telling. I may just set up the video camera and see what we catch and then edit just the funny things. So we have completely different artistic vibes. She's very much a pattern specific placement, follow the, and I'm kind of an abstract, slap it on, see what it wants to be, and then end up what it needs to be. So it's kind of funny when we get together, but I trust her to help me get caught up. So I'm going to take the help because I'm very, very much behind. So you all have a wonderful night. I hope you wake up in a wonderful mood, feeling great tomorrow. I hope I do too. Fingers crossed. And we will see you hopefully tomorrow around noon. If not, expect a video tomorrow evening edited of the highlights of mine and Mom's craft venture. So pray for me. I'm going to have to behave tomorrow. I'm going to finish your gift, and I'll see you tomorrow. I love you guys. Bye.